Hello and welcome back, class. This is week four's video. We're about halfway, almost halfway to the end of the second 9 weeks. It's been flying by, it seems like. The first thing I want to go over is I want to tell you about the updated live class schedule. Hopefully, you're seeing that all of your teachers are hosting live classes throughout the week at certain times. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you reach out to your other teachers to see, well, when are their live classes? That way you can stay up to date with what's going on in your class and then hopefully do well on your homework assignments. So for my class, the things that have changed is that we are still doing the live classes in Mr. Dodson's Math Crew. You can all find that by going to the Groups tab at the top of Schoology, and then you'll find Mr. Dodson's Math Crew. On the left-hand side, you'll find conferences, and during these specific times right here, you'll see that there is a conference that is live that you are welcome to join. So for the live classes, I will be having class on Monday, 9 to 10 a.m., and Thursday, 12 to 1 p.m. So I chose two different times just in case you struggle getting up in the morning or if you have something to do on Monday mornings, you have the Thursday option. Now, for this week, hopefully you all join both of those days because this week is our test week. So I'll be reviewing on Monday and then playing a quizzes review game on Thursday. Now, Wednesday, I still have my office hours, which are 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So feel free to check in at any time on Wednesdays. Pop in, say hey, or if you want to work on some of the problems that you might be having on your assignments, feel free to hop in and I'll help you out then. Okay, so this is the new updated live class schedule. I posted on all of your class pages, so you should be familiar with it. So to start off with, for week four's assignments, there's really only one graded assignment per usual for this week, and that is your topic two assessment. Please do not do the topic two assessment until you have studied for it. Okay, I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of links inside your weekly folder, which will be a study guide, it'll be a Jeopardy review, and then come to a live class. I can help get you prepared for this topic two test more if you join on Monday and Thursday to help get yourself ready to take the test. Now, the topic two assessment, you will have two attempts on it. So take your time, try it out, study all of that good stuff before you take the test. If you don't do too well the first time, then definitely come to my office hours. Tell me I'll be able to see what you got wrong. Tell me what you're confused on, and I can help you out to get you a better score on that second attempt. Okay, so please don't rush through both attempts without getting help first. Okay. So that being said, that's the only graded assignment for this week. The third thing on this list is, of course, catch up on missing work. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week, and I'll probably say it every week after until the end of the 9 weeks. Stay on top of your work. I'm seeing a whole bunch of you popping in to my um, what's it called, office hours on Wednesday. A few of you came on in and you got caught up on your work. That's perfectly fine. I'm here to help you, but don't wait to the last minute to do all of these assignments because the holidays are coming up. It's going to be a stressful time, a busy time, and you're going to forget, just like I forget things during the holidays too. Just don't forget to do those assignments and turn them in on time, okay? If you need anything, just let me know. So let's hop into today's lesson. It's just going to be a review, so hopefully a lot of this isn't new to you, but we should be able to breeze through it. So one thing I'd like all of you to do at home, hopefully you have a blank white piece of paper, like computer paper, that's what I just got it from, or a piece of notebook paper would work fine too. What you're going to want to do is take this paper, fold it in half one way, so I believe you guys call this hamburger style, but just fold it in half, and then fold it in half again. The reason why I want you to do that is so that your page is split up into 4 even sections. Okay, so it should look like this, because when you open it back up, you should have 4 even sections to where you can write some notes. All right, take a minute, pause the video, and inside the top of each one of these boxes, I want you to write these titles: integers on a number line, absolute values, ordered pairs on a coordinate plane, and finding the distance on a coordinate plane. The reason being is because we're going to be making a cheat sheet during this video so that you can have notes to look on to help you with your test as well. Okay, so that way I'm hopefully giving you all the tools you need to get A's and 100% on this test. Okay, so take your piece of paper, write the headings on the top of each square, and once you're ready, we'll go to the next slide. All right, so the very first thing we worked with at the beginning of this unit, topic 2, was integers and number lines. A lot of us didn't have any issues with it because it's not too new for us. You're used to working with integers. And what an integer is, if you want to write this on your notes, an integer are just our counting numbers. They're opposites and 0. That's what an integer is. And when I say counting numbers, I mean exactly what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are all integers. They're opposites, right? They're opposites. The opposite of a positive one is a negative one because they're the same distance from 0. And 0 is an integer. So opposites are integers located on the opposite side of 0, the same distance from 0. So let's look at these points on this number line. We have A, B, C, and D. Looking at the number line, let's try to figure out what value, what integer represents each one of these points. So let's start with A. So A is located on the left side of a number line. Your negative numbers are always to the left on a number line. So if we were to start at 0 and look how it's being counted, we have 0, a space, and -1. Well, what number's in between 0 and -1? Half, right? So a number that is halfway between 0 and -1 is just a half. So we just found C by looking at the number line. C is a negative a half. I'm going to write it as a decimal. You could have also written it as -1/2. Okay, so that's C. But now that we know that this is a half, this is -1, this would be -1/2. Well, we just found B. B is -1/2 because it's counting by halves. -1/2, -2. -2/2, -3. -3/2, -4. This hash mark, this tick mark, would be -4/2, and we see that this is -5/2. Well, what's in between -4/2 and -5? What is in between -4/2? So if this is -4.5 and -5, we know it needs to be technically a number that looks more, even though these are less, but it looks more than 0.5. So that means D would be -4.75, also known as 3/4. So -4 and 3/4. So don't just get in the habit of thinking I'm only working with whole numbers, right? Sometimes you will be working with decimals and fractions. So pay close attention to how a number line is ordered. That way you know what the numbers are. Okay? So that's integers on a number line. Oh, for A, sorry, that should have been over here. I said that was D. So we'll just say this is A. Yep, that's A. For D, there we go. D is over here. So if this is 1, this is 1/2, this is 2. Well, what's this hash mark? 2/2. So D is 2.5. Sorry about that. Forgot about that one. So like I was saying, just be careful on how the number line is being ordered. Pay close attention to the counting numbers and see where the points fall on the number line. All right, so let's move to the next thing. Absolute values. absolute values we've been working with for the past 3 weeks now. Everything we've been doing deals with absolute values. And if you want to write the definition down on your piece of paper, your cheat sheet, it's the absolute values of a number is the distance from 0 on the number line. Distance is always positive. Remember that. Distance is always positive. So if distance is always positive, then your answer to an absolute value problem should always be a positive number. So for number 1, the absolute value of -9, how far is 9, right here, -9, from 0? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 spaces. So that means the absolute value of -9 is just 9. How far is 2 from 0 on a number line? 2, right? 2 is 1, 2 from 0 on a number line. Now this one's a little bit tricky. The first thing we want to do is figure out, well, what's the absolute value of -10? How far is -10 from 0 on a number line? 10 spaces. So if the absolute value of -10 is 10, and there's a negative on the outside, then we just have the negative, and then we put our answer of 10. So the answer here, now don't get confused, I did say that absolute values, so the absolute value of a number is always going to be positive, and it was. The absolute value of this -10 is 10. But since there's this negative out here, we just attach it to our answer, which makes it a -10 again. Okay? Now these types of problems I did want to talk about again, because this is where I saw a lot of us had some issues. When you are ordering absolute values, you need to make sure you take the absolute value first, put them in the correct order from least to greatest, using the original numbers. So let's look at this problem right here. We have the absolute value of -3, the absolute value of -2, and the absolute value of 10. Let's find the absolute value first. The absolute value of -3 is just 3 because it's 3 from 0. The absolute value of -2 is 2. And the absolute value of 10 is 10. If we were to order these from least to greatest, well, what number here is the smallest? 3, 2, or 10? 2 is. So my answer from ordering these numbers from least to greatest would be the absolute value of -2. And then what's the next least number? 3 was. So I would write the absolute value of -3, which means the greatest number here is the absolute value of 10. So that would be my answer using the original numbers that were here. Okay? So again, the very first thing you need to do is take the absolute values first, see which one is the least, then put them in order. Let's look at this one. We have -18.5, 18, and -12.5. Again, the first thing we need to do is take the absolute values. So let me choose another color so it's not all purple. Let's choose green. So the absolute value of a -18.5. Well, -18.5 is 18.5 spaces from 0 on a number line. So that's 18 and a half. The absolute value of 18 is 18. And the absolute value of -12 and a half is 12 and a half. So all of my answers are positive like they should be. Now I want to put them in order from least to greatest. So the number here, if we were to think about this in terms of money, I have $18.50, $18, and $12.50. Well, what's the least amount there? $12.50. So if I were to put these in order from least to greatest, I want to use the original numbers first. So 12.5 was the least, so I would write -12.5. Then my next least number was 18. So I would say the absolute value of 18. And then my greatest number is this negative 18.5. And now I have my answer. That's it. So absolute values, the things to remember, answer is always going to be positive. If it's a negative, it turns positive. If it's a positive, it stays positive because absolute value tells you how far a number is from 0 on a number line, and distance is always positive. If you have to find the order from least to greatest, remember to use absolute values first, see what numbers are the least, and then put them in order. And that's it. Okay, so the next thing we need to work on is ordered pairs on a coordinate plane. So really all this is just plotting points on a coordinate plane and being able to look at a coordinate plane to figure out what is the ordered pair. One thing we need to remember is that an ordered pair looks just like this. It's where you have parentheses and two numbers next to each other, but separated by a comma. The first number is always your x value, and your y is always the second number. What this is it gives you the location on a coordinate plane. This is just a location of a point on a coordinate plane. All right. When you are plotting points on a coordinate plane, always start at the origin, which is right here in the middle. The origin is always right here in the middle. 0, 0. The x-coordinate tells you whether to move to the right, which are your positive numbers, so over here on the x-axis, or if your x value is negative, it means go to the left. Then, wherever you fall on the x-axis, stay there and look at your y value. If it's positive, it means move that many times up. If it's negative, it's telling you to move that many times down. All right? So let's look at the coordinate plane that's over here. Number 1 says u. So the ordered pair for u right here is what we need to figure out. One thing to always keep in mind is you want to make sure you're paying attention to where your numbers are falling on the coordinate plane. Do we see how it goes 0, skip 1, here's 1, skip another, here's 2, skip another, here's 3. If I'm in between 1 and 2, that's a half, right? I'm halfway between 1 and 2, so this would be 1.5. Pay attention to that because it can mess up your your ordered pairs that you're trying to find from this coordinate plane. Whew. So for u, if I start at the origin, which is smack dab in the middle, did I move to the left or to the right for my x value? No, u is straight above me. So that means my x value is 0. Now, is u up or is u down? U is up, so that means my y value should be positive. Well, how far up did it go? Here's a half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. So my y value is 2.5. I'm going to write it as a fraction, but you could also say 2.5. Same thing. And that's it. So my ordered pair for u is 0, 2.5. Let's try v. Start at the origin. Well, v's to the left. Well, how many to the left? A half, negative 1, negative 1.5, negative 2. So for v, my x value is negative 2 because I went 2 to the left. Well, how far up did it go? A half, 1, 1.5. So my y value is 1 and 1/2. And that's v. W. Start at the origin. Is w going to the left or to the right? It's going to the left. So my x value should be negative. Well, how much to the left? 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So my x value is negative 4 for w. How far down does it go? Well, here's negative 1, it's at -1. So my y value is -1. So we're rolling along. If I were to look at x, so my coordinate for x, so the ordered pair for x, did it go to the left or to the right? This time it went to the right. Well, how many? 1, 2, and it's halfway between 2 and 3, so my x value is 2.5. I'm going to write it as a decimal this time, 2.5. So if I'm at 2.5 and here's x, did I go up or down at all? No. The x, so the point x is lying on the x-axis. It's on the x-axis, which means that my y value is 0. Just like for you, my x value was 0 because it didn't move left or right. My y value for point x is 0 because it didn't go up or down. Last two, we have y and z. So y and z always start at the origin. Now for y, did we go left or right? Right, 1, 2. So my x value is 2. How far down did we go? Here's -1, and it's halfway between -1 and -2, which means it's -1.5. -1.5. And that's it. So it's 2, -1.5. Now z. Z, if I start at my origin, it went to the left, -1.5, because it's halfway between -1 and -2, and it went down to -3. So this would be -1.5, -3. And that's it. One thing to please make sure we keep in mind, right? When we were plotting our points a couple of weeks ago, I had some people that would go to wherever their x value is and put a dot, and then go to the y value and put a dot. You don't put 2 dots down. You only need 1 dot. 1 dot to show the coordinates. So for example, if I were to say plot the point 3, 3, not too hard, right? 3, 3. We'll say that this is point S. If I were to plot 3, 3, you start at the origin, 0, 0. Since it's a positive 3, I move to the right to 3, and I go up to 3 for my y value. I put my dot right here. Only 1 dot to show point S. Don't draw lines going to it. If you do, make sure you erase them. The only way to show a point on a coordinate plane is just one single dot on the graph. All right, let's try one more thing. So hopefully this doesn't need too much review, but this is what we've been working on the past 2 weeks. So last week and the week before Thanksgiving. And that's where we find distance on a coordinate plane. Now last week we were finding distance on a coordinate plane with shapes. So we had to find the distance on a whole bunch of different ordered pairs. And then 3 weeks ago we were trying to find just the distance between a pair of ordered pairs. So just 2 points. The way we do that is, first, you need to figure out, are they in the same or different quadrants? And if you remember, for quadrants, it goes, let me choose my pen. It goes quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Your coordinate planes are broken up into 4 quadrants. If they're in the same quadrant, you subtract. If they're in different quadrants, you add. And you might be wondering, well, add or subtract what? Well, you need to take the absolute value of the numbers that the ordered pairs don't have in common, then add or subtract. Let's try this first one. It says, what's the distance between the 2 points, -4.5, 16, and -4.5, -2? So again, first step, we need to figure out, are they in the same or different quadrant? Here's what I would do. Look at your ordered pairs, and above each number, just say, is it positive or negative? This is a -4.5. Let me choose a different color. How about blue? negative 4.5, and a positive 16. For point B, this is a negative 4.5 and a negative 2. If I have a negative, positive, negative, negative, are they the same or different? They're different. Since they're different, I want to add. Add what? Well, step 2 says take the absolute value, so the absolute value of the numbers that the ordered pairs don't have in common. I like to write my ordered pairs on top of each other. That way I can see what numbers they have the exact same. The numbers they have the exact same, the ones they have in common, are negative 4.5. So I'm not working with those. I need to take the absolute value of 16 and the absolute value of negative 2. And since they were in different quadrants, I have to add. So what's the absolute value of 16? 16. What's the absolute value of negative 2? 2. What's 16 plus 2? 18. And that's your answer. That's how you find distance between 2 points. Do it step by step by step. So one of the most important things I would write down on your cheat sheet is this: same, subtract, different, add. Okay? Pause the video even. Write down this example so you have an example to look off of. But that's how you find the distance. Figure out, are they in the same or different quadrants? Take the absolute value of the numbers that they don't have in common, and then either add or subtract. And that's it. Now, the other type of finding distance is what we did last week, where you might have a polygon, so a shape on a coordinate plane, and you have to find the perimeter or the area. Let's take a look at this one. So let me erase this, and let's look at this. So for number 2, it says the polygon QRST is plotted to the right, so over here. I already put it on the coordinate plane for us. What is the perimeter and the area? So I'll show you how to do both. So the very first thing I would do, at least for the test, I'm pretty sure I give you on almost all of the problems, I give you the ordered pairs. I think there's just one question where there isn't the ordered pairs given. But if I were you, I would find out what are my ordered pairs first. So I have Q. Q is negative 4, negative 1. I'm going to write, no, I can't write that. Negative 4, negative 1. R is negative 4, positive 5. S is 2, 5. So positive 2 for my x value and a positive 5 for my y. And T is 2, negative 1. All right, so I have all of my ordered pairs. Awesome, I'm off to a good start. Now what I need to do is I have to figure out what is the distance between my points to figure out my side lengths for this polygon. Okay, now this polygon, I don't know if it's a square, I don't know if it's a rectangle, right? So I can't assume that all of the side lengths may be the same or different. I have to figure out what are my different side lengths, and then I can figure out the perimeter and area. So what I would do first is I would figure out what is the distance between Q and R. So for Q and R, I have a negative and a negative, a negative and a positive. And I can see, are they in the same or different quadrants? They're in different quadrants. So for Q, side length Q and R, I want to take the absolute value of the numbers that they don't have in common in each ordered pair. So the absolute value of negative 1 and 5. Negative 1 and 5. Since they're in different quadrants, I would add. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1. The absolute value of 5 is 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. So QR, so this side is 6. And one thing you could do if you do have the graph is count. Do you see how this graph is counting by ones? So I can count each space by 1 and see what my side length is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we were right, which is good. Now, one key thing we were talking about last week is that regardless of if it's a rectangle or if it's a square, if Q and R is 6, then S and T has to be the same side length, which is 6. And let's just count to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. So we're good to go. Let's find the distance between R and S. So let's choose like red. So for R and S, we have a negative, positive, and a positive, positive. Are they in the same or different quadrants? Different. So if I were to find the side length of RS, I take the absolute values of the numbers that they don't have in common, and I would add them. The numbers they don't have in common are negative 4 and 2. So negative 4 and 2. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4, and the absolute value of 2 is 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. So my side length of R to S is 6. Let's count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, it is. So if R to S is 6, then that means Q to T is 6. So QT is 6. All of my side lengths of this polygon are 6. Since all of my sides are 6, that means it's a square. Now, the original question said the polygon, which we now know is a square, QRST, what is the perimeter and the area? For perimeter, you just add all of these sides up. So P equals 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 24. So my perimeter is 24. To find the area, you just multiply two sides together. So length times width. 6 times 6. So 6 times 6, which is 36. And that's it. So the last problem, so this perimeter and area problem, I think those take the most time, which is why last week and this week on the test, they're worth a lot of points. So take your time on them. Use what you know about shapes to save you some time. Since we knew that R and Q was 6, then we knew that S and T was 6. Since we knew R and S was 6, then we knew Q and T was 6. So we cut down half the time for this problem. Okay? So that's how we find distance on a coordinate plane. I would, again, the most important thing here is I would write down this same, subtract, different, add, and write down these steps over here because this is the key to solving both of these types of problems. So as I said, I hope all of you join my live classes on Monday and Thursday. Monday, I'm going to be going over basically this exact video. So we're going to be doing review problems. I'm going to be having everybody make their own cheat sheet. And then on Thursday, we're all going to participate and do a quizzes review, which is kind of like Kahoot. I'm thinking, depending on how many people show up to my live classes, I'm thinking on Thursday, whoever may be the top 3, I'll give extra credit to. So that's an incentive for all of you to join on Thursday to join the quizzes review, play along, get a little bit extra practice before you take your topic 2 test. Please, please, please watch this video, join the live classes, come to my office hours, do the Jeopardy review that I put inside your weekly folder. I'm going to put a study guide that you can choose from just to give you some extra practice. All right. I want all of you to be successful. Please don't rush through on this test. It's worth 20 points, which is double a homework assignment. So if you completely bomb this test and you rush through, that's going to be a heavy grade that's going to bring you down. But if you ace it, then that's going to take you so far It's going to be awesome. It'll be great. Okay, so please, please, please try your hardest. Come get help if you need to get help, and I'll be there to help you. So before I end the video, I did want to show you, just in case some of you still don't know how to get to the conference room. The way you do that is you click right here where you see groups. Mr. Dodson's math crew is right here. Just click it. And then if you come to class during the specific times, which is not these anymore, you'll see over here conferences. During those specific times, so on Monday 9 to 10, Wednesday 9 to 2 p.m., and Thursday 12 to 1 p.m., right here will be a conference. You can just click to join. It'll say whatever the title is, you can click the title, or over here where it says status, you can click the status. I believe it says join conference. All right. If for some reason you miss it, over here on this completed tab, you'll see all of so this past Thursday's live class, the conference, my office hours are right here. Tuesday's live class, Monday's live class from this past week, they're all right here that you can watch, and they'll be available for you for 7 whole days. So if you do miss a class, come back here and watch them. That way it gives you a little bit of extra practice. You can see what we talked about, and you can look at the examples that we go over. All of these are perfect ways to get you prepared for your test and in the future to help make sure you're successful in this class. Okay? But as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, send me a message on Schoology. I look forward to seeing a lot of you hopefully all of you, on our live classes on Monday and Thursday. I can be reached on my office hours on Wednesday from 9 to 2 p.m. if you have any questions. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all in the next video.